Imagine this. You're a kid desperate to play the coolest new game, but you can actually not afford it. Well, this was actually me. My family came to Germany without a lot. As first generation immigrants, they started to build their life here from nothing. And it was around the year 2008 that I visited a friend and saw how he was actually playing Counter-Strike. Something about Counter-Strike was so captivating that I wanted to try it myself. So I asked if I could borrow the CD and install it on my PC too. But my friend explained that he had no CD. He downloaded it over Steam. I wanted to have the experience and I went over to my father asking if I could get Counter-Strike. At that moment my father said no. The game was 10 euros and we did not have the money for it at that time. Time later, our family went on vacation. And we visited family in Ukraine. And while we were in Ukraine, I saw the street vendors were selling video games. A lot of them. And between them, there was it, Counter-Strike. I asked my father if he would buy me one of the CDs. And well, later that evening, he actually came home with one of these CDs. There were multiple games on that CD, which had only cost €1. And on that very CD, there was also one special game. Welcome to the world of Counter-Strike non-Steam. You have to understand, back then we didn't have this fiber internet or Game Pass subscriptions. What we had were just our dusty PCs, LAN parties and a glorious cracked version of Counter-Strike, the legendary non-Steam 1.6 version. And soon there were dozens of us crammed into these overheated rooms, windows fogged and the monitors were humming. One kid, one mouse, we shouted, we laughed, we cursed. It was terrorists versus counter-terrorists, AKs versus M4s and always the bomb has been planted. This €1 CD actually brought from Ukraine, it fueled months of gaming, dozens of installs. It wasn't just my copy. It became our copy. And the wildest part? Well, that story wasn't unique. In the Balkans, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Belarus, in countless basements and smoky internet cafes from Belgrade to Bucharest, this was normal. It didn't matter that people couldn't afford the original CD or that online connectivity was limited. In Russia, for instance, it was common to see Counter-Strike non-Steam editions. Basically pirated versions stripped of any authentication traded around. And this underground distribution meant barriers to entry were low. If you had access to any PC at all, you and your friends could just jump into Dust 2 and start planting the bomb without spending a ruble or a euro or a dollar. The result? Counter-Strike became more than a game. It was a social glue, a competitive outlet, almost a national sport in some Eastern countries. And even those that didn't play knew of it. This was the non-Steam Counter-Strike revolution. But before I delve deeper, I want to bring up this disclaimer. This isn't a commercial for crime. Pirating games is illegal and generally not a great way to support the creators. Yet, in a curious twist of fate, it has occasionally kept games alive and kicking in ways no one has actually expected. As Valve's creator, Gabe Newell, once said, piracy is almost always a service problem and not a pricing problem.
Really worry about piracy? From our point of view, what we saw more and more is that piracy is the result of bad service on the part of game companies.
In the 2000s, many of those countries that I have previously mentioned had no local game distributors, high prices relative to the income, and spotty internet for online authentication. It's a perfect storm that made cracking a necessity for gamers. And Valve's response? They eventually made the service better, introducing localized pricing, make the games cheaper, for example in Russia and India, and improving internet infrastructure through things like Steam content servers, and effectively outmaneuvering the pirates by being even more convenient. And guess what? It worked! For the longest time, a lot of people from low-income regions stuck with 1.6 solely because it was free. But as soon as Steam and CSGO became accessible, affordable enough, players finally started to switch over, actually buying the game. The fact that they did means a whole generation went from informal to legit once the conditions were right. And that generation only existed because piracy kept the flame alive during the lean years. Those intense friendships and rivalries formed over cracked copies of Counter-Strike gave rise to esport teams, professional players, Twitch streamers and modders. The global Counter-Strike ecosystem owes a not so small debt to the fact that in early days, anyone, anywhere could join in, and Counter-Strike is not the only example. Crafting a community with cracked copies. Let's go over to Minecraft. When Minecraft was in its infancy, something unusual happened. The creator, Notch, encouraged a fan to pirate the game. Yes, you heard that right. Notch's laid-back stance on piracy was well known. He was even a member of the Swedish Pirate Party and believed a lost sale due to piracy costs $0. And boy did that approach pay off. If you think about Minecraft today, it is one of the best-selling games of all time. Along the way, it also became one of the most pirated games in the world. This is the pirate paradox in action. Millions of players' first experience with Minecraft was actually in the cracked form, without paying a dime. Yet, that only actually fueled the game's wildfire growth. There is a study that actually estimates that 81% of Minecraft users were playing on pirated copies, while only 19% were playing on legit paid accounts. Yet, Minecraft's popularity only kept climbing. By not treating piracy as a lethal threat, Minecraft's creator cultivated an ecosystem. From the blocky villagers in Minecraft, let's actually go over to Los Santos. This is the story of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, a worldwide classic. The official price of GTA San Andreas in the store might have been out of reach for many local gamers. And what was the solution then? Mod the console to run burnt disk and buy pirated games for like $2 US? Unsurprisingly, almost no one bought legit copies. And among all these games, GTA San Andreas stood out as a crown jewel of the pirate market. It was a huge feature-packed game with a sprawling city, a banging soundtrack, and a storyline that was straight out of a blockbuster movie. For a teenager in a country where new games were expensive, getting such a rich experience for the price of a soda bottle was irresistible. GTA San Andreas was so popular, even people who never owned a legitimate game in their life knew about the game. These copies were not vanilla copies of the game either. The pirates often spiced them up. For instance, there's popular editions in Latin America that came preloaded with the infamous Hot Coffee mod, which unlocks a hidden explicit minigame. Just imagine you buy GTA from a street vendor and then you discover that your version actually lets you play as a superhero and has crazy cheats enabled right from the get-go. In a way, the pirated copies were like custom special editions that officially never existed. And because nobody was actually playing the same cracked version, there existed a vibrant modding community for GTA San Andreas. There were homemade videos, often using this monotone text-to-speech narrator voice, over absurd GTA footage circulating on early YouTube. And these Loquendo videos became a meme in their own right and kept San Andreas in the spotlight well into the 2010s. Even multiplayer found a way. Fans made an online mode for GTA San Andreas, SAMP, or also actually Multi-Theft Auto. It's a testament to how piracy can extend a game's life far beyond what official sales could. Rather than die out as a yesterday's hit, GTA San Andreas became a classic. A whole generation, especially in the global south, got a taste of this open world freedom of Los Santos. They fell in love with gaming, and many of those players remain loyal fans to GTA today. Some even have become content creators and game developers. It's tempting to conclude that, yeah, piracy is good, pay for nothing. But that's not the real lesson that I want to bring forward here, you know? There's a reason anti-piracy tech exists, and it's not just like evil corporate greed. It is fear that a game might not recoup investment if everyone copies it. But the story we have explored so far reveals also a powerful counterpoint. If it's locked up, a whole potential audience disappears. And as we wrap up, I want to consider this thought. Some of the gamers who grew up on cracked Minecraft or pirated GTA are now adults with disposable income. They are the ones buying Minecraft storybooks for the kids, or they're celebrating the announcement of GTA 6 with credit cards in hand ready to pre-order. The early theft didn't turn them away from gaming. It converted them into lifelong spokesmen for this. it doesn't justify breaking the law, but it certainly complicates the black and white narrative of piracy as this big bad guy. It would be interesting to know if you have some unique stories basically that you want to share. Let me know down in the comments. I would appreciate it. And I hope you liked this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Follow me also on Twitch, TikTok and YouTube. Until next time, happy gaming and stay curious.